Hey everybody, welcome to Band Advice TV. This is the Matt and Mark Music Podcast. I am Mark.
I'm Matt.
We're going to do things a little different. We've been talking about all the other things out there, but we haven't talked about ourselves near enough. So, Matt's going to interview me, and then the next episode, I'm going to interview him. So this ought to be entertaining at least.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, so we started playing together, and then we played together for probably 10 years, and then you got kind of like you were doing stuff on your own, and then that was, after we did the duo gigs around Tulsa,
right? Like
at the Buccaneer, and we played with America and all that kind of stuff there. So what was after that? You were doing the more originals. You did the...
I was trying to do more original, more current stuff. When we were doing the duo, you were the lead singer, lead guitar player. I was the harmony guy and the good-looking guy.
And the comedian.
And the comedian as well. And the delusional one, apparently, right? So I was just, trying to find my own voice. And, I was writing some songs and stuff. And I landed a gig at a hotel. It's a little hotel bar. It was actually, for a hotel bar, it's a pretty decent size. And I think it was a Tuesday, Wednesday gig, and it was, wasn't much. It was like 10 to midnight kind of thing, 2 to 3 hours. And I was having some fun. They have some nights that were absolutely awesome, and then there were others that were just horrid. And
so when you say horrid, what was horrid?
The fact that people think that they can heckle musicians. It was, you figure if you're at a hotel bar, these are people that are usually from out of town. So what happens on the road stays on the road, and they would just... Sometimes they just want to listen to the jukebox, and, they just get right up in your face, get off the damn stage, all this other stuff.
And, man, how rude, really?
Yeah, and it's, there's another time when someone actually went over to try to plug the jukebox right back in the middle of my set, and, you got to let some of that roll off your back, but then after, golly, there was just... There was a string of about 2 or 3 nights in a row when there was these conventionaires, they were accountants or something. They were there, and they would just stand around and just heckle, and you suck it off stage, all this other stuff. And I just remember it was getting towards the end of the night, and I said, "All right, guys, I got time for one more song." And they're like, "Yeah, about time, get off the stage." And I'm like, "You all can just kiss my..." Fill in the explicative. Place got silent, and
man.
one of the guys, one of the head people of their group, goes, "That's it," and he walks out the door and goes over to find management. So I pack up my stuff and I leave, and I talked to the bar owners on that the next day. I says, "Look, I get it if you don't want me back. No, we'll give it another shot." And I tried for a couple more days, and it just I lost the passion at that point in time. It's like, why am I doing this?
Man, I would say that was just not the right audience.
No,
that was definitely, and there's some wisdom in being able to pick and choose. You know what I mean? Because and I've fallen victim to it. We all have. Sure. We just want to play. We want to get out there. If somebody wants us to play, we want to have a chance. But you shouldn't feel bad about that at all. It's just those kind of gigs it's tough doing that,
Right. And at that point in time too, I had we had done quite a bit with our duo, and I was hitting a little burnout at that point in time. And I thought it was maybe because I was just tired of the music we were playing and some of the places we were playing, when really ultimately it's just I was just tired of playing bars in general.
Yeah.
And looking back, and I was letting that frustration of playing in just these bars where people, like you said earlier, you sit there in a bar of 100 people all night long, and 100 people never saw you, that kind of thing. And I was just frustrated at that, because like you said, when you're out there, you want people to listen to your music. Now, you're not going to get raving reviews every time, but if you could just get a couple people to show some interest, and make it feel like you're worth your while, that you're reaching them, then that's worth it. But wasn't getting that, and I wasn't getting that after the duos was over as well.
I've always wondered, it's like, what, because I've seen, different bands on different levels at like venues, the same venues. And so at a certain level, the people are still sitting at the table.
Right.
They're still acting like they're too cool to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
But then at another level, they're standing there, and
Yes.
they're there at 7:30.
Right.
They're there in the front, waiting at the front.
Just like last night at Wade Bowen.
Yeah,
Everyone
right.
was
It's
standing.
like how I don't understand what I don't know what goes through. I'm just that's one of the mysteries I've always wondered.
I think it's the type of gig. There's multiple levels of what a gig is. You got something that's just going to be atmosphere music. That's your kid playing in the corner of a coffee house, just doing instrumental stuff. And then you've got your bar gig, which it depends what kind of bar. Is this a bar where you want to get everybody up and dancing? So you're the doctor and lawyer band that plays all the cool disco stuff from the 70s.
There's no
and 80s.
cool disco.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I get it. But yeah, man. I mean,
those old timer. Of course, now we're at the age of those guys were when we were laughing at
right.
And and then you've got the rock band bar gigs, and those a lot of times end up at your biker bars and things like that. And but those things can be very active or very passive. You can't have crowds that are just digging the heck out of it, or you got crowds that are just sitting there, and that's just what the venue caters to. But like you said, you get to the next level. You get to the place like the Cain's Ballroom, where it's not just a bar gig; it's a concert. You are putting on a concert on a
little different scale.
on a scale that the Cain's holds. But it's a step up. You know? You're not sitting there trying to fill 3.5 hours and playing your 45-minute set and going off for 15-minute break. You were putting on a concert. You got a show. You got a set list, and so that's what was really cool when we did Open for America, because it's like finally this is what we're doing.
Isn't that weird when they all clapped when we played the first original?
Oh, I know. That was just so cool.
I mean, and that just kind of flew in the face of all the people that were like, original music in Tulsa is no end. You should play more covers. That right there was the moment when I knew that they were full of shit.
Right, but the
thing
is that there's truth to that too. The bar gigs, original music doesn't exist in Tulsa. You get to that next level up, the concert style, then yes, because then people are there to listen to the music. They're there to watch you play. They're not there trying to pick up on some chick or play pool or get slopping drunk. Although, I always said the drunker they are, the better I sound.
Yeah, but that was a real, revelation when all those people clapped, and it was like, wow, that wasn't a cover. That wasn't the Humpty Dance. That was a song we wrote.
Yeah.
And these people are here. They paid to come here to see this band that they know, and they happen to see us. And so that kind of was an eye-opener for me,
And after doing that, going back to the Buccaneer Bar, it's like, don't get me wrong, I love the Buccaneer Bar, but we're playing to the same 10 people week after week, and
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I got to the point where, like, when I was playing with a name act, I'd try to not book like a small, tiny gig the next night, because it was just so hard to come down from, wow, there was 1,000 people standing on their chairs at the end of it last night, and now there's 4 crankheads and the bartender. What happened here?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're just like, what's the deal?
Yep. Exactly.
So then, okay, so you had an epiphany. You took a little break off performing, but you didn't quit making music at that point.
Oh, I was still writing. I invested a bunch of money in a Pro Tools setup, and I was doing a lot of recording and stuff. But at that time, if you wanted to put out a CD, you had to put out 10 songs. It's just cost effective. You had to do it that way. So I would run into situations where I get 2 or 3 songs in, and they're sounding pretty good. And then I just, hit writer's block, or I just would struggle with some, and then work would get busy. And, the whole project just was taking longer, and I ended up losing interest in it. I did. Even though I dug up some of the recordings the other day, it's like, okay, not too bad. But I lost interest in that too. Kind of got burned out, because it's, you work at something and just, you don't seem to get anywhere. And then met a girl.
Oh yeah.
Got married, had kids.
Yeah.
So I had quite a few years where I was too busy changing diapers, and gosh, I can remember one stint when I went for like 3 months without touching my guitar.
Wow.
And it just really, I would sit there and say, what happened? And don't get me wrong, these were choices I made because I wanted to be that step up father. I wanted to be very active in my kids'
And that's
life.
very admirable,
and
man.
that was what was
admirable.
important to me is making sure I was making enough money and taking care of the kids. I was helping my wife who was had to go back to school and then take new jobs. She went through a couple of new jobs, each one better and better. And
Yeah.
I was Mr. Mom, still am dance mom. I take my daughters to dance competitions and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
So
now they're a little bit older, so I can leave them downstairs and hope they don't beat the crap out of each other and come up here and
so
play music
does
stuff.
the family, your wife and kids, they like your music? They think it's neat. They like
The kids
get involved
do.
in it.
The kids do, and every now and then they'll come up and they'll play on some of the instruments. I got a ukulele here that Taylor really wants to get into, and but we're just all so busy with everything too. And then about 4 years ago, just out of nowhere, I was on one of my business trips. I get a call from our pastor at church. He goes, "Hi, this is James. I understand you play guitar. Can you play this Sunday?" I'm like, "Where's this coming from?
Yeah.
How did you get my number? Because I think I've spoken to you once in the last year. And how'd you find out about all this?" So I had to kind of bow out of that at that time because I was really busy with work. But I finally said, "Okay, I'll come down. I'll play this week." And I've been playing ever since then. 3.5 years later.
Nice.
140 services I've done since.
Wow,
so,
man.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I know that you've done thousands of gigs, but for myself, to play 140
Man,
of anything.
You know what I figured out? It's like, I mean, if you can get to where you play with some semi-regularity once a month, and you do that for a year or 2 years, that's pretty admirable. It takes a lot to keep that going with so many other things weighing on you, you know. And I've realized it's like I've made choices in my life, and everybody's made choices in theirs too. And I mean, when you get to the marriage and the kids stage, it has to take backseat to that. It just has to, because family and kids takes a lot of responsibility, a lot of commitment, and you can't do it when you're out at bars till 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 nights a week. You just it just doesn't work that way.
My kids are only the age they are for so long, and the guitar will always be there. Hopefully my fingers will hold out as I get older, but it'll always be there. Doing the church thing has been great. I've grown more as a guitarist in the last 3 years than I have any other period of time, other than maybe when I was in the high school jazz band, because I was kind of forced into learning how to play chords and read music. And when you're competing against two other guitar players in a very awkward shaped jazz band, you practice a lot, stepped up your game. So
well, I've noticed you getting more into it. That's cool to see.
Well, now that I'm doing this too, is I'm writing a lot more. I'm doing good old rock and roll and the acoustic folky stuff like I've always done, but I'm also writing some worship songs and doing my bluesier stuff as well. So I basically have about 3 different personas out there at any given time, and now podcasting as well. So and these things are all tying together. I came across a couple months ago. This diagram that was basically Walt Disney's business plan.
Oh yeah,
and it shows Disneyland here, and it shows the Mickey Mouse video series here, and it shows this, and all these how all these business units tied together, and they all fed off of each other, and also fed into each other, and that's kind of what I'm doing with the Band Advice thing too. I've got the Mark V record label that I'm slowly starting up. I've got the Band Advice thing that we're doing, and with the hopes that all these things kind of cross-pollinate and help build each other up. And honestly have, like I said with the intro music, it's the Mad Dog Mark and Blues Sounds Christmas Time Blues. I'm still getting spins in the Netherlands.
Nice.
Now I know it's colder a lot, but they got to get to the point that Christmas is over. But just the other day, 2 or 3 of them from over there. It's like, I'll take it.
Heck yeah, man. That's cool.
Awesome. So
that's cool.
It's fun. I get to kind of step away from the doldrum of doing dishes and mowing the yard and stuff like that. And, have some fun, put some stuff out, and the family's been very supportive of that. So
yeah, man, and having interesting hobbies that really makes life a lot more interesting. I mean,
does.
I know lots of times that maybe is hard for people to do, but I think having interesting hobbies is fun.
Well, it keeps you young.
Yeah,
it keeps you out of trouble too.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's definitely true. So what you're just going to keep on sewing all these different things together and
Yeah.
keep on working at it and, having fun with it becoming to define your skills, refine your skills as a musician. So where do you see yourself, like, when you're able to retire from your job? Where do you see yourself with music then?
Or what I have to achieve to retire from my job?
Well, I mean, when you retire from your job, what would you see for yourself?
I'm hoping that we can continue to launch the podcast stuff and the Band Device and YouTube channel and have multiple streams of income to the point where I will be making a comparable living that I can then focus full time on that. And then I'll really delve deep and get into that plan of releasing a new track every month and, continue to release new content. And that's what I really like to do. And, so people would start hitting, watching our videos and getting our traffic up. Please, I'm begging you. Shameless self-promotion. I'm a master at it.
Well, I don't know, man. I just think that you're doing good stuff, and I always like hanging out with you and talking.
Absolutely.
Like, working on some stuff together, and that's cool. It's really been fun.
It certainly has. We're definitely family because we've had our ups and we've had our downs. We've had years in which we didn't talk to each other. And it's just because I'm the crank. I'm the crank, but also it's because I was jealous because you were always a better player than me. So it took me a long time to just say, so what?
Exactly. And you know what it means? You know what it means? It's like, that's just,
it's my own insecurity.
You can't compare yourself to anybody else. I mean, you just can't. I did it for years. I've beat myself up so many years, but when I started figuring it out, I'm like, and Ace was like, Matt, the trick is you figure out who you are,
right,
and then make more of that.
Sure.
So that was like great advice that it wasn't that easy to just follow it at first.
Right.
Because then you're like, oh, wait, from years 1 through 3, I was Ace Frehley, and for years 3 through 4, I was Tony Iommi, and then I was Eddie Van Halen and Vito Bratta and Nuno Betancourt. Well, how about what's Matt Mason do?
Right, exactly.
And that I think is a real revelation to get to is, figure out what you're good at and turn that up.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm in the process of writing several songs that are very personal to me, and I'm going to put them out there. It's like, not every song I put out there's got to be hit potential, you know? And like I said, it's one thing if you're putting together a whole CD, you're going through a year-long process and then all the expense of pressing it. But now that it's $7 to put it out there, $50 to copyright, and then whatever money you want to spend to promote it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put out music that I write, and for the reasons I write it, it's going to be about as honest as it's going to get. And if you like it, great. If you don't, at least I feel satisfied that I did something with it. So that's what Mark V is going to be moving forward.
Well, man, there's a purity.
Or Mark Allen or Mark Vierthal or whichever name I decide to go with.
Yeah, there's a purity in doing it, because you love it.
Yeah.
I mean, once money gets involved, art gets really sketchy.
Right. Yeah.
No pun intended, but that's true.
It does, and
so...
Because now you're becoming pretty much a work for hire.
That's
Even though you're not putting that on the copyright line,
right.
you are writing songs, you're putting it out there for the purpose of selling records, make somebody else money, make yourself money. And
yeah. Well,
to me, when I get hits and I get the revenue and stuff that I'm getting, as little as it is, that to me it's just kind of their way of showing appreciation, saying, "Hey, I like this enough that I'm going to pay you my 99 cents." And that, they're not there to be able to applaud me in front of a gig, so they give me 99 cents instead. Well, that's great. So, we're constantly trying to teach our kids, especially in the social media era. It's like, it's not about the likes. You don't do stuff on Facebook or Instagram and all that and get upset if you're not getting enough likes. It's not a popularity contest in most cases. And what I'm trying to do is that's how I get feedback as to the success and what people think of my music.
Right.
So, that's a delicate lesson I'm trying to teach the kids. It's like, the number of hits, number of listens and stuff is important, but it's not why you do it either.
No. It's like the creativity and the joy of creating something that's cool and sharing it with people on a real level. That should be the reward in itself,
Exactly.
Because, like I said, man, you chose a different life than I did. And, I'm telling you, there's a big bad wolf around every corner when you're doing this for a living.
Yeah.
I got to admire you for doing it a different way, because I see people are like, oh, it must be great to play music for a living and do it for, I'm like, well, yeah, man, it is. But, it's nice to be home at 3 a.m. when it's raining instead of loading gear out or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I don't try to solicit sympathy for anything because I made my choices. And, I knew this was going to be a rough life, but I enjoyed doing it, and
yeah.
Well, cool, man. Yeah. Many more podcasts to come.
Yes, sir.
My buddy Mark, here you go.
Awesome.
Check him out.
Yes, and be sure to check out Matt's stuff too. We'll be putting links, and stay tuned because I'm going to do the same and interview him next. So until next time, I'm Mark V. This is
Matt.
Peace.